All right, y'all. We are in Washington State. Where are we in Washington?
Southeast corner.
Southeast corner. We got Idaho a couple miles from us. We got Oregon a couple miles from us. We got the river, the Snake River, and the what's the other one?
Can't say.
Can't say.
It's top secret.
Top secret. But somewhere along the river, we're gonna go out there for mule deer. So, stay tuned. Alright, I'm gonna do a little voiceover here as we're going through this because I feel like it's gonna give a little bit more context. We were seeing deer all over the place. They were just covering us, but getting close to them was the challenge. So we would start glassing. We'd pick a good vantage point, start glassing around, seeing where the herds were moving, and try and develop a plan based off of that. But it was not easy. There was like probably 90-degree weather the entirety of this trip. It was just hot. I'm not used to hunting in the heat. Normally I'm hunting in the wintertime, but it was freaking hot. We were sweating. We were canning a bunch of stuff. It was pretty rough, not gonna lie. Alright, y'all, we're glassing for mule deer right now on like the river behind us, this rock face mountain in front of us. And we saw a bunch of doe earlier, a bunch of fawn, one buck. It was 4-point, right?
Oh, we call it 2-point.
2-point, yeah. It's funny, it's different in the
This
south.
side of the country, 2-point.
Yeah, we haven't seen any big boys yet, so we're looking for them still. The country was straight up beautiful, though. I mean, there was all kinds of mountain ridges. There was a river that was right behind us. When we were hunting down low, there was a river that was right beside us. But it was just beautiful, beautiful country. I'd never seen anything like it before. All right, y'all, putting in some work here. I'm gonna be skipping leg day this week because by the end of this, I'm not gonna be able to walk. We got, I don't know, an 80-pound pack probably. And then we just walked up this crazy cliff. That's where we came from. And that's where we're going. We have to walk over here to get over there. Get ready. So it was no joke, at least an 80-pound pack. Had my bow, had my water, had a change of clothes, had my gear, had my food. It was a lot of heavy, hard walking. We've been hiking all day. We're on top of a little ridge. We're both pretty dehydrated right now. We don't have enough water to make it this whole trip. However, there is what seems to be like a little mud hole creek down there. We saw some coyotes getting something. It looked like they were drinking. So we're gonna walk down there, see if we can scrape off the scum of the water and drink that. We're survival mode right now. Alright, this is the pond we're getting our water out of. Just have to scrape the scum off. We're good to go. Alright, y'all, we got some water. About to eat a keto brick. Rest up a little bit. Got a little campsite established here. Then we're gonna do some glassing up on this ridge in front of us here to see if we can figure out where they're bedding down, where they're moving, so we can get set up for a hunt, either this evening or in the morning. Get ready. Alright, so we decided that we're gonna watch and glass over that water hole, which is, I don't know if you can see my finger. It's not probably gonna work, but it's basically where that brush is at the bottom of this hill. So we're gonna see if we can see anything coming to get a drink. If anything around here is as thirsty as we were, shouldn't be a problem. One thing you take for granted when you're just living your normal day-to-day life is like the simple creature comforts. We're out here with like the minimum, requirements, but we had the ability to have a hot cup of coffee. And even though it was super hot out there this entire trip, simply being able to sit down, take a little breather in the afternoon, and make a cup of hot coffee was like just wondrous. Coffee never tasted so good.
Sweet.
Coffee time. are, matey?
So we had a few deer show up at the water hole. 2 does and 1 buck. Be smaller, but we're not feeling too picky right now, so we'll see what we can learn about them and make a move tonight or tomorrow maybe.
Way down there. So we were unsuccessful in this evening stalk. We got relatively close, but then they started spooking, and it was just no bueno. It was starting to get too dark to shoot, so we kind of just called it quits on the evening hunt, and just called it good for the day. Had intentions of starting fresh the next day. But I will say one thing: the beauty of these sunsets out here in this particular environment, this terrain, was pretty breathtaking. I mean, that night, that first night, it was like it was hard to beat. The sun was coming down. You had these like rolling grass hills, and the stars were out. And it was hard to put into words, but it was freaking beautiful. There's no cell phone service out here. There's no in touch with reality. It's just totally different. Second day. Started off early, seeing a bunch of doe. No bucks, but a lot of doe. Doe were everywhere out there. Alright, y'all, so next morning. We weren't successful last evening. We saw a few deer this morning, but couldn't get close enough. We're out here glassing over this overlook now. See a whole bunch of does, probably 15 does.
At least
12, 15 does, no problem, but no bucks. So we're gonna see what we see, backtracking to where we saw that 1 buck this morning. See if we can find him. It's 1:30. We just went down there to where the water is. We built a little blind, and I'll take the camera down there in a little bit and show you what we built. But we're hoping the deer come to get some water, and then we can just ambush them from that blind. We got about 3 hours to kill, 3 or 4 hours to kill before they start moving. So we're gonna go on the back side of this mountain and start glassing just to see if we see anything. All right, y'all. Here's a little makeshift blind. We got another pond over there. And then hopefully they'll be coming up this draw. We'll be in here waiting on them. We got relatively decent visibility above us, that way and that way, and really good visibility out in front of us. So we'll see what we see. Shout out to Adam Fuller, who hooked us up with these ready to eat steak bites. Keto.explorer on Instagram. But a full-blown 16-ounce ribeye, freeze-dried, shelf-stable, doesn't get much better. So you can't see this, but I actually took a shot. Really hard to get that on camera. But that was the first shot at a deer with a bow. Alright, y'all, we just shot the first shot. I shot twice. The first shot was like way off. I'm pretty sure I hit a stick or something. The second shot, I feel good about, but I don't know, she didn't act like she was hit. So we're gonna wait a few more minutes, then walk up there and see if we can see her. There's my 4 deer hopping away. Not a scratch on them. Totally missed. Shoot 2 shots, totally missed. Whole another ball game, shoot with a bow versus a gun. I'm not a seasoned hunter yet. Alright, y'all. We had 3 deer this morning that we tried to stalk. They got away from us. But Joseph saw a bunch of elk. Saw about 50 elk over the hill. We don't have an elk tag, but we're going to go see if we can get closer and check them out. So bring the camera along, see what we see. So it was the coolest thing seeing these elk. I didn't see all the bull elk that he had seen earlier that day, but just simply getting that close to the cows and the calves, I mean, it was pretty awesome. You could hear the bulls bugling in the background. The sound of a bugling bull is it's just eerie. Like, there's no words that can describe it. It was freaking awesome. After we saw those, we went to this crazy hot pursuit, crawling through, all kinds of valleys and ravines, but no luck. We're gonna make it, bro?
I think so. What stinks is that on camera it'll never look nearly as steep as it is. It's just not gonna do it justice.
We've probably walked, I don't know, I'm going with 10 miles today. We've been all up and down those ravines. We've got to get all the way up this mountain and back to the side without dying first. Alright, so at this point, we're just like getting tired of not getting a good shot at a deer. So we start pulling out all the stops. I'm taking my shoes off. We're stalking this deer with just our socks on. So that's what we did with this particular stalk here. We saw a bunch of deer across this little ravine, and we decided to put a stalk on them. So I took the shoes off, was creeping around. It was starting to get pretty dark. It was dusk, and it was getting harder and harder to see through the peep sight on my bow. So it was like time was of the essence. So I was trying to have to move pretty quickly. I couldn't be as quiet as I'd like. So every time they dipped their head down low to feed, I would kind of try and make up for some ground pretty quickly. I'd stand up and get a little bit more vertical and just move quickly, but still was not able to get within range of these deer. The closest I got was about 75 yards, which was pretty long for a shot for me. And I took a shot at one, was not successful, totally missed the deer, went under it completely. I was able to find the arrow, just like sticking in the dirt, but it was rough. And here I am walking out here with no shoes on. I've got like rattlesnake syndrome. I'm feeling like I'm gonna be getting bit by a rattlesnake here. It's getting harder and harder to see. So this was an unsuccessful stalk, but it was a lot of fun. It was cool taking the shoes off and just going straight up primitive on these things and trying to like really focus on being quiet, being mindful of the wind direction and the scent. That's this kind of stuff you just don't have to do when you're hunting with a gun. When you're hunting with a bow, you have to get just super quiet, be mindful of all the little details, get within range. There's just so many variables, but it was a freaking blast trying to stalk these deer and be as quiet and stealth-like as possible. Alright, so I'm gonna bring you up to speed. We were up camping last night, up in the high country, and we decided that if we had killed a deer up there, it was gonna be too much work than we were able to do to bring it down. So we decided to come down, and now we're got the river right behind us here, the van's right here. So we're gonna hunt here the rest of the trip down low. That way if we get something, we can carry it out without too much trouble. But right now, I'm about to go jump in the river. I'm dying. Alright y'all, that river dunk was as good as it could have ever been. We feel refreshed, we feel human again. We're about to cook up a meal. Let me show what we got. Again, shout out to Adam Fuller, Keto Explorer. We got some chicken chili, and then we've got some chicken chili buffalo style. So we're gonna heat this up with a little stove and have a good meal. Alright y'all, so it doesn't get any crazier than this. We've been hiking up on the mountaintops for the past 3 days. Have like crawled, taking our shoes off, crawled on our socks, just like hardcore hunting to the max. We get here down to the river, we have a big full meal, we take a bath, and then we're driving along on these deer, all bedding down on the side of the road. So we stop, grab the bow, jump out of the van. I'm in my Keto Savage t-shirt and shorts right now, and this deer walked out, let an arrow fly, dropped her instantly. So not quite the storyline I was going for, but we got meat in the freezer, which is the main thing. So Of course, we had to get our pictures. This is us like just propping the camera up and taking a clip of that. Got one a solo picture, and then I got one with Joseph. Not quite the whole play out that we would have expected, hunting like we did and then getting a deer at the end like this, but we got meat in the freezer, which is the main thing. Filled the tag. It was an awesome experience. Alright, y'all, we are back in Spokane. This is where Joseph lives, my old stomping grounds. If y'all seen my older vlogs, you know this is where I'm from. Or not from, but where I've been. So we got our ice chest full of meat and ice. We're about to start processing that now and cut into these groceries. We're gonna grill some heart and some backstrap tonight, so it's gonna be good. Be really good. Alright, y'all, let me show you what we got going on the grill here. So we tried to get as much nose to tail as we could with these deer. Sorry, the dogs are barking. So we cut out the tongue, we cut out the heart. We couldn't get the liver was all shot to pieces. But we're cooking the heart. We got it marinating right now. So we got the heart, and there's a tenderloin in there, and then we have a back strap there. Throwing those on the grill. It's gonna be delicious. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Those tomatoes are fresh from their garden. That meat was killed this morning. That is the way to do it.
Spin it around.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, we're live.
Nice medium rare. What's the verdict? That's the way to do it,
It's
huh?
awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
buddy.
Tender. Bomb.
Alright, y'all, so that pretty much concludes this hunting video. This is the first time I've really done like a hunting montage like this, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Just want to like recap and say this was a freaking awesome experience. I mean, to be out super deep in the outdoors for like 4.5 days like we were, without any kind of cell service, without any kind of signal, no internet, no anything, no contact with the business. I was kind of freaking out a little bit there towards the end, hoping everything was running smoothly. But it was awesome. I felt one with nature. I got better sleep despite the fact that I was sleeping on rocks and falling off of hillsides, and it was just not optimal. But just simply being so disconnected in the outdoors, it was peaceful. It was paradise. It was hard. I mean, I can honestly say that backpacking with that pack, going up and down those steep grade mountains, I mean, it was not easy. I've done competition preps. That's like a very hard thing to do for an extended period of time, 5 months or so. I've done really difficult, physically demanding things like the marathon, which is a very finite amount of time, a few hours. This, as far as like a 4-day type event, was pretty freaking hard. I mean, I was hurting. So, it was awesome. It's a challenge, and you got to practice with your bow on a day-to-day basis to make sure you're putting a well-placed shot on the deer when that opportunity comes. You got to be in shape to be able to carry your weight, pull your weight when you're doing that kind of strenuous physical activity. It was awesome to have that time with Joseph, my brother-in-law, now that I'm married to Crystal. It was just all around an awesome trip. So, just trying to space my memory card. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. Let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of stuff, if you're passionate about the outdoors, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff on my channel. I'm happily going to put it on there. And I'll see you next time. Take care.